Chosen one, this is why your family members turned on you. You felt the shift in the room before anyone said a word. The love that once felt warm suddenly felt cold and distant. The smiles became tight, and the words became sharp. It hurt deeply, because these were the people who once held your hands and called you their own. Stay with this until the end, because what you are about to understand will lift the weight from your heart and replace confusion with peace. Type Amen if you believe. You were not rejected because you failed. You were not pushed aside because you were weak. You were set apart because God placed something rare inside you. When light grows stronger, darkness becomes uncomfortable. When your spirit began to rise, when your faith became steady, and when your character started to reflect Jesus more clearly, something changed around you. Not everyone can stand in the presence of growth they do not understand. There is a reason this pain feels different from other hurts. This wound came from familiar voices and trusted hearts. Yet even this was allowed for a higher purpose. God saw the path ahead of you. He knew that some attachments would limit your calling. He knew that certain relationships would try to shrink your vision. If this truth is touching your heart right now, please take a moment to like this video and show your faith openly. Your journey with Jesus is not ordinary. When you chose obedience over approval, when you chose integrity over comfort, you stepped onto a narrow road. That road does not always feel crowded, it often feels lonely. Even Lord Jesus Christ walked through betrayal from those close to him. He understands the silence at the dinner table. He understands the whispers behind your back. He understands the feeling of being misunderstood by your own household. God is not punishing you, He is positioning you. There are seasons when separation feels like loss, but it is actually protection. Some people can only walk with you in certain chapters. When the chapter changes, the cast changes too. It does not mean you stop loving them. It means God is guarding the assignment He placed on your life. You began to think differently. You started praying more. You stopped joining in gossip. You refused to respond with anger. That quiet transformation unsettled those who were comfortable with the old version of you. Growth exposes insecurity in others. Your peace reminded them of their unrest. Your discipline reflected their excuses. Instead of rising with you, some chose to resist you. Still, God is close to the broken-hearted. He collects every tear you cry at night. He sees the messages left unanswered and the invitations that never came. He watches you choose kindness even when your heart feels heavy. That obedience is precious in His sight. Nothing you endure in faith is wasted. The pain also teaches you strength. It teaches you to lean on God instead of leaning only on people. When family approval fades, divine approval becomes clearer. You begin to hear God's voice more gently and more directly. In the quiet moments, He reminds you that your identity does not come from human acceptance. It comes from being His child. There is another truth that may be hard to accept. Sometimes those closest to you sense the favor on your life before you fully see it yourself. Favor creates distance when hearts are not ready to celebrate it. Instead of clapping, they question. Instead of supporting, they criticize. This is not because you are wrong. It is because destiny can feel threatening to those who are not pursuing their own. Forgiveness becomes your shield. Holding bitterness would only slow you down. Jesus showed love even when He was wounded. You are being shaped into that same gentle strength. You are learning how to stand firm without becoming hard. That is maturity. That is spiritual growth. Type 777 if you trust Jesus. Even in this season, God is building something beautiful in you. He is building resilience. He is building clarity. He is teaching you that your calling is bigger than temporary approval. One day, you will look back and see that this separation created space for divine connections. It created room for mentors, friends, and spiritual family who understand your heart. Do not let this experience close you off from love. Let it refine you instead. Let it deepen your compassion. When you feel tempted to withdraw, remember that Jesus never withdrew his love from you. He continues to walk beside you through every uncomfortable gathering and every quiet holiday. His presence fills the gaps left by others. Your family turning on you does not mean the story ends in division. God can restore relationships in his perfect timing, but restoration will come after growth. It will come after healing. It will come when hearts are ready. Until then, trust that God is doing more behind the scenes than you can see. You are not alone in this journey. Many chosen ones walk through similar valleys before stepping into their purpose. The valley prepares you for the mountain. The misunderstanding prepares you for leadership. The rejection prepares you for deeper compassion. Hold on to faith. Hold on to hope. Keep walking in love, even when it is not returned in equal measure. God is proud of your endurance. Jesus is near to your heart. The same hands that formed you are guiding you through this season. When you grow spiritually, you begin to see life differently. You no longer react the same way. You no longer chase the same things. Your priorities shift. What once seemed important now feels empty, and what once felt small now feels sacred. That shift can confuse people who are used to the older version of you. A little-known 7-second morning practice once kept within CIA documents is making its way back into public view, and people are already reporting fast financial shifts. It takes only seconds to complete, yet it stimulates a dormant wealth center in the brain that most people never access. Click the link in the description and comments now to check it out before it's gone. Your family may remember who you were, but God sees who you are becoming. There is tension between those two images. Some people feel comfortable with your past because it fits their expectations. But when you begin to walk in faith, when you begin to speak with wisdom and restraint, when you choose peace over drama, it challenges the image they held of you. This does not make them your enemies. It makes them human. Not everyone grows at the same pace. Not everyone is ready for change at the same time. Your transformation can feel like a mirror to others. That mirror can awaken admiration, or it can awaken discomfort. God is teaching you how to stand firm without becoming proud. He is shaping humility inside you. You are learning that being chosen does not mean being celebrated by everyone. Sometimes it means being misunderstood. Sometimes it means being quietly separated so that your roots can grow deeper. In this season, Jesus is inviting you to lean into him more than ever. When earthly support feels unstable, heavenly support becomes clearer. You begin to pray with more sincerity. You begin to listen more carefully. You find comfort in stillness that you never noticed before. The pain that once felt unbearable slowly becomes a doorway into deeper faith. Type 1111 if you trust in God. There are moments when you miss the closeness you once had. You remember laughter around the table. You remember shared stories and simple joys. Those memories are not erased. They are part of your journey, but seasons change. Growth sometimes requires distance so that clarity can rise. God does not delight in division. His heart is always for healing. Yet he also understands that some separations are necessary for protection. If you had remained fully surrounded by certain influences, your courage might have weakened. Your vision might have blurred. Your obedience might have been compromised by pressure to conform. The rejection you felt became a refining fire. It burned away your dependence on approval. It taught you to stand on truth even when applause was absent. That strength is not loud, it is quiet and steady. It is the kind of strength that carries you through storms without losing your tenderness. You are learning to love from a distance. You are learning to pray for those who misunderstand you. That kind of love reflects the heart of Jesus. He loved even when love was not returned in the same way. He remained faithful to his purpose, even when others doubted him. There may have been words spoken that still echo in your heart. Words that questioned your decisions, words that dismissed your faith, words that tried to pull you back into old habits. Those words hurt because they came from familiar voices, but they do not define you. God's voice over your life is stronger than any criticism. You are not called to argue your worth. You are called to live it. Over time, consistent kindness speaks louder than defense. Quiet perseverance speaks louder than debate. The fruit of your life will answer doubts better than any explanation. Sometimes family members fear losing control when they see you stepping into independence guided by faith. They may feel left behind. They may feel uncertain about the direction you are taking. That uncertainty can show itself as resistance. Yet even in their resistance, God is working on their hearts too. Your role is not to force understanding. Your role is to remain faithful. Continue to show respect. Continue to extend grace. Continue to walk in integrity. The peace that rests on you will become visible over time. That peace will speak for itself. There will also be new connections forming quietly around you. God does not remove without also preparing to add. Spiritual family begins to appear. Friends who share your hunger for growth. Mentors who encourage your calling. These relationships may not replace blood ties, but they will strengthen your spirit. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. As you move forward, you will notice something changing inside you. The sting of rejection will slowly lose its power. Compassion will rise in its place. You will begin to see your family through softer eyes. You will recognize their struggles and their fears. Instead of anger, you will feel understanding. Healing is a process. It does not happen in a single day. Some days you will feel strong and at peace. Other days the memory of distance will feel heavy again. In those moments, return to prayer. Return to stillness. Let God remind you that He never left your side. Jesus is close in seasons like this. He knows what it feels like to be doubted by those who watched Him grow up. He knows the ache of limited acceptance, yet He never allowed that ache to stop His mission. His love remained steady. His compassion remained open. You are being invited into that same steady love. You are being formed into someone who can carry responsibility without resentment. Someone who can walk into rooms with humility instead of pride. Someone who can forgive fully and move forward without dragging the weight of yesterday. Do not measure your value by how others respond to your growth. Measure it by your obedience to God. Measure it by the peace that rests on your heart when you choose what is right. Measure it by the quiet joy that rises when you sense His approval. What if wealth was never about luck, but about a hidden brain signal that remained buried in classified files? This powerful frequency is now unlocking doors, drawing in new opportunities, and changing lives quickly. Thousands are already using it to attract prosperity in ways they never thought possible. Click the link in the description and comments now, and switch on the money-attracting brainwave today. There may come a day when some family members recognize the change in you and respect it. There may also be some who never fully understand. Either way, your path remains clear. Your calling remains intact. God's purpose for your life is not fragile. The turning of hearts can happen in unexpected ways. A kind word, a patient silence, a consistent example. Seeds are planted even when you do not see immediate results. Trust that God is watering those seeds. For now, focus on becoming who He created you to be. Focus on strengthening your spirit. Focus on deepening your trust. This chapter is shaping you into someone who can handle greater responsibility with grace. You were never meant to shrink so that others could feel comfortable. You were meant to shine with humility and love. The distance you feel today is not the final picture. It is a temporary space where growth is happening on all sides. Hold your heart gently, guard it from bitterness, keep it open to hope. God sees your endurance. Jesus walks beside you. The story is still unfolding, and what feels painful now will one day reveal a greater purpose. You began to notice certain conversations felt empty, certain habits felt heavy, certain patterns felt unhealthy. You could not fully explain it at the time, but your spirit was maturing. The things that once entertained you no longer satisfied you. The approval that once excited you no longer carried the same weight. That internal shift was the first sign that you were being prepared for something greater. When you change, internally, the external world responds. Some people celebrate your growth, others feel unsettled by it. Your family may have sensed that you were no longer easily influenced. They may have felt that their opinions no longer controlled your decisions. That change can feel like rejection to them, even though it was simply your growth. God is not building rebellion in you, He is building discernment. Discernment allows you to love without being manipulated. It allows you to listen without losing yourself. It allows you to stay kind without surrendering your convictions. That balance is rare. It takes time to develop, and often it develops through tension. You might have felt torn between loyalty and obedience. You love your family, you honor your roots, yet you also feel a clear pull toward a higher calling. That tension is painful because it feels like you are choosing between two parts of your heart. But in truth, you are choosing obedience to God, and that obedience will eventually bless even those who misunderstand you. There are moments when the enemy tries to use this situation to plant doubt. Thoughts whisper that you should return to old patterns just to restore peace. Thoughts suggest that compromising your growth would make life easier, but easier does not always mean better. Peace built on pretending is not real peace. Jesus never built his life on pretending. He walked in truth, even when truth created distance. Yet he never stopped loving. That is your example. You are not called to withdraw in anger. You are called to remain steady in love while standing firm in faith. Type yes to affirm. Your heart has been stretched in this season. Stretching is uncomfortable, but it increases capacity. You are learning how to hold sorrow and hope at the same time. You are learning how to forgive while still feeling the sting of hurt. That emotional maturity is part of your preparation. You may not realize how strong you have become. The version of you from years ago might have reacted with anger or desperation. You might have tried to prove yourself loudly. Now you are quieter. You pray instead of argue. You reflect instead of react. That change is evidence of God's work inside you. There is also a hidden blessing in this separation. You are discovering who you are outside of familiar roles. When family expectations fade, identity becomes clearer. You are not only someone's child, sibling, or relative. You are a child of God first. That identity carries authority, dignity, and purpose. Sometimes, family dynamics can unconsciously limit growth. Roles become fixed. Expectations become rigid. When you step outside those expectations, it disrupts the pattern. That disruption can feel threatening to those who are comfortable with the old structure, yet breaking unhealthy patterns often requires courage. God is giving you that courage. He is teaching you to set healthy boundaries without hatred. Boundaries are not walls built from bitterness. They are lines drawn with wisdom. They protect your peace. They guard your calling. They ensure that your energy is directed toward purpose instead of constant conflict. Type 1919 to receive miracles. You may wonder if things will ever feel normal again. The truth is that normal may not return in the same form, but something better can grow. Relationships can mature, conversations can deepen, respect can replace control. That transformation takes time. It often begins with your steady example. Your consistency matters. Continue showing kindness even when it feels unnoticed. Continue speaking gently even when others speak sharply. Continue living with integrity even when your motives are questioned. Over time, authenticity becomes undeniable. There may also be moments when God invites you to step forward boldly, to pursue opportunities that stretch you, to move into spaces that feel unfamiliar. The earlier distance prepared you for that movement. If everyone had remained tightly attached, stepping forward might have felt impossible. Now, you are lighter. You are freer to respond to God's direction. Freedom can feel lonely at first, but it is also empowering. You begin to trust your own discernment. You begin to hear God's guidance more clearly. Decisions become rooted in prayer instead of pressure. That clarity is a gift. Within your mind is a small region linked to success and wealth, once concealed in restricted research and classified files. This newly revealed frequency is helping people trade financial stress for calm and stability, and God has led you to see this at the perfect moment. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brainwave now. Remember that spiritual growth is not a competition, it is a journey. Your family members are on their own journeys. Some may eventually grow in ways that surprise you. Some may soften with time. Continue praying for them quietly. Love does not require constant proximity to remain real. There is also healing happening within your own heart. The pain that once felt sharp is becoming softer, not because it did not matter, but because God is soothing it. He replaces resentment with compassion. He replaces confusion with understanding. He replaces insecurity with confidence rooted in Him. You are not abandoned, you are being refined. Refinement feels like loss before it feels like strength. It feels like fire before it feels like purity. Yet the outcome is worth it. You are becoming someone who can carry influence without being controlled by it. Your story will encourage others one day. There are many who silently walk through similar experiences. They feel isolated in their growth. They feel misunderstood in their obedience. Your endurance will become a testimony of quiet faithfulness. Continue choosing love. Continue choosing truth. Continue choosing faith. Even when conversations feel strained, your spirit can remain at peace. That peace does not come from perfect circumstances. It comes from deep trust. God is not finished writing your story. The turning of hearts was not meant to break you, it was meant to shape you. It was meant to redirect your focus from human approval to divine alignment. It was meant to strengthen your foundation so that future storms will not shake you. You are stronger than you realize. You are wiser than you were. You are closer to God than ever before. That closeness is the greatest treasure. When your own family begins to question you, it forces you to confront your foundation. You can no longer rely on inherited faith or borrowed convictions. You must decide for yourself what you truly believe. You must choose whether your trust in God stands firm even when others disagree. That decision shapes your character in a way comfort never could. In earlier seasons, you may have avoided conflict just to keep harmony. You may have silenced your convictions so that no one felt uncomfortable. But growth required a shift. God did not call you to live as a shadow of your true self. He called you to live in truth, with gentleness and courage. The tension you experienced revealed something important. It revealed where your loyalty truly lies. Not loyalty to personalities or expectations, but loyalty to righteousness, loyalty to integrity, loyalty to the quiet voice of the Holy Spirit guiding you toward maturity. Type 222 to claim miracles. You have noticed that your reactions are different now. When harsh words are spoken, you do not erupt the way you once might have. When assumptions are made about you, you do not feel the same urge to defend yourself aggressively. That restraint is not weakness. It is strength under control. Jesus modeled that strength. He did not chase validation from those who doubted him. He did not collapse under rejection. He stood firm in identity. That same steady identity is being formed in you. There is also a spiritual principle unfolding here. Sometimes, God allows familiar support systems to loosen so that you can step fully into personal responsibility. When comfort fades, initiative rises. When approval disappears, clarity grows. You begin to ask yourself deeper questions about purpose, calling, and direction. Your family turning on you may have felt like abandonment, but in truth it was an invitation to mature, an invitation to stand on your own convictions, an invitation to let your faith become personal rather than inherited. You may still carry moments of grief. That is natural. Love does not disappear simply because tension exists. You can love deeply and still recognize that change is necessary. You can honor your family and still follow God's direction with courage. Type 1010 if you agree. In this season, God is also teaching you emotional boundaries. You are learning that you cannot control how others interpret your growth. You cannot force understanding. You cannot rewrite someone else's perspective. But you can control your response. Responding with peace when you feel provoked is a sign of spiritual maturity. Choosing silence when arguments escalate is wisdom. Praying privately instead of reacting publicly shows depth. These choices are shaping you into someone who carries authority without arrogance. There is a quiet dignity forming inside you. It does not need constant recognition. It does not crave applause. It simply rests in knowing that obedience to God is enough. That kind of dignity cannot be shaken easily. The loneliness you sometimes feel is real. Even strong faith does not erase human longing for connection. Yet in those quiet moments, you are discovering the companionship of Jesus in a deeper way. His presence feels closer now. His comfort feels more personal. You are learning that divine intimacy can fill spaces human relationships once occupied. This season is also revealing hidden strengths you did not know you possessed. You are more resilient than you thought. You are more patient than you realized. You are more grounded than you ever imagined. The very situation that seemed to weaken you is actually proving your strength. There may be times when reconciliation begins slowly. Small gestures, short conversations, subtle changes in tone. Growth does not always happen dramatically. It often happens quietly. Continue being consistent. Continue being kind. Continue being steady. Even if full restoration takes time, your heart does not need to remain heavy. You can release bitterness daily. You can choose forgiveness repeatedly. Forgiveness is not denial of hurt. It is freedom from carrying it endlessly. A 7-second brainwave method, once limited to elite circles and tucked away in classified files, is now accessible to the public, and many refer to it as the 30-second miracle. Researchers say it stimulates a dormant brain center tied to prosperity and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it's removed again from the internet. God is also preparing you for environments beyond your current circle. The lessons you are learning now will serve you later. You are developing emotional intelligence. You are learning how to navigate misunderstanding without losing yourself. Those skills will matter in future leadership, future friendships, and future responsibilities. Your calling requires stability. It requires a heart that does not crumble under criticism. It requires a spirit that remains humble under pressure. This season is producing that stability in you. Do not interpret the turning of hearts as a permanent sentence. See it as a chapter. Chapters change, growth continues, stories evolve. God is not limited by current tension. He is working beyond what you can see. There will come a time when you recognize that this period marked a turning point in your life. It was the moment when you stopped shrinking to fit expectations. It was the moment when you began trusting God's direction more than human approval. It was the moment when your faith became unshakable. Continue to guard your heart gently. Avoid replaying painful conversations unnecessarily. Replace those memories with prayer. Replace resentment with gratitude for how far you have come. Your peace is too valuable to surrender to old wounds. You are not defined by rejection. You are defined by redemption. You are not shaped by misunderstanding alone. You are shaped by obedience, resilience, and love. That identity is secure. As you move forward, remain open to healing on both sides. Trust that God can soften hearts in ways you cannot. Trust that time can bring perspective. Trust that patience can build bridges where tension once stood. Above all, remember that you are chosen not for comfort, but for purpose. Purpose sometimes requires pruning. Pruning feels like loss before it feels like growth, yet growth always follows. Stand tall in humility, walk forward in faith, speak gently with courage.